When working with group data, we need to estimate the mean. For example, the time taken by pupils to complete a test is shown in the table. So 5 pupils took somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes to complete the test, 10 took somewhere between 15 and 20 to complete the test, and so on. Remember, these are inequality signs. So in the second row, it really means that you've got 10 pupils that took at least 15 minutes, but no more, or at least 15 minutes and less than 20 minutes to complete the test. So basically between 15 and 20 minutes. To work out an estimate for the mean, we need to use the midpoints, because I don't know if those first 5 pupils, for example, if they all took 10 minutes, if they all took just under 15 minutes, or whatever. So I assume they all took the middle amount of time between 10 and 15, which, if we add up 10 and 15, we get 25, and if we halve that, we then get 12.5. So the midpoint's 12.5. Midpoint of 15 and 20 is 17.5. Then we have 22.5, and remember, if you're confused on how I'm actually doing this, you can add up the endpoints, so 20 plus 25, and then halve, and that will give you 22.5. So that's how I'm doing this. So then we have 27.5. Basically, the gap is always 5, so I'm just adding on 2.5, 32.5, and 37.5. So we now ignore the times, and we can basically think of these midpoints as our time values. So we imagine that we have 5 pupils that took 12.5 minutes exactly, 10 pupils who all took 17.5 minutes, and so on. We now need to do what we did before with the actual values times frequency, but we just do midpoint times frequency. So I'm going to do midpoint times frequency, so 12.5 times 5 is 62.5, and I'll just do exactly the same for all of the other rows, which gives me these values here. I now need to add up my midpoint times frequency and then divide by the total frequency. Let's add up this row, this column here, so midpoint times frequency column. So let's do that quickly. And that gives me 1,170. So I need to do 1,170 divided by the total frequency, which is 25, 40, 6 and 7 is 48. So that's how many pupils that were measured. So I need to do 1,170 divided by 48. If I do that, I get 24.375, and the units are minutes. We want to work out which class contains the median time. Now, we don't mean that as in, what school class. The class is just which category of time, so between 10 and 15, between 15 and 20, and so on. We can't actually give a value for the median time because it's group data. So what we do is we do 48, and to work out where the median is, there are 48 pupils. The median is going to be approximately halfway. So, well, it's really exactly halfway, but again, this is an estimate because it's continuous data. So the median is going to be the 24th pupil. That's what we consider the median to be. So we need to see where that pupil is going to be. Now, all of the data is in order, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and so on. So the first 5 pupils took between 10 and 15 minutes. The first 15 took between 10 and 20 minutes. So if we keep adding up, 15 and the next 15 is 30. So the first 30 pupils took between 10 and 25. But we know that the first 5 are here, the first 15 are here, and the first 30 are somewhere in here. So that means that it's the third row that must contain the 24th value. So we say the class that contains the median time is 20 less than or equal to t less than 25. So essentially, the median class is the class between 20 and 25 minutes, which corresponds quite nicely with our mean. Here's a question for you to try. Please pause the video now and have a go, and when you're ready for the answer, press play. Here is the answer. So, just working through this, our midpoints are going to be 10, 30, 50, 70 and 90 centimeters of snowfall. So we can now assume that there was one day with 10 centimeters, 8 day with 30 centimeters, 9 day with 50 centimeters, and so on. We now complete midpoint times frequency. So 1 times 10 is 10, 8 times 30 is 240. We have 6 9s of 54, 540. To work out the estimate for the mean, we need to do the total of our midpoint times frequency. So we add all of these midpoint times frequencies up. Which gives us 1,730. And we divide by the total number of days, which is the total frequency. And if I add up 18976, and I get 31, obviously, because it's January, so 31 days. 1,730 divided by 31 gives me an answer of 55.81 centimeters per day. That is to 2 decimal places. So we don't round it to the nearest whole number, but you give it to about 2 decimal places there. And to work out which class contains the median, well, I just say I've got 31 days, and I want to find which day is halfway. So I need to do 31 divided by 2. Some people do 32 divided by 2. It's not going to change the answer we get. So this gives us 15.5. So we want to find where the 15.5 value is going to be. So the first value is between 0 and 20. I do my cumulative frequency. 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 9 again is 18. So the first 9 values are between 0 and 40. And the first 18 values are between 0 and 60. So that means the 15.5 value is between 40 and 60. So the class that contains the median is 40 is less or equal than S is less than 60.